what do you say or do when a girl says she has a boyfriend?
Okay, so depends why. All right. Typically, if this is very early on in the interaction, it might just be an excuse. Okay. So my first thing to think then is like, why potentially does she need to give an excuse here? So if you're getting like, I've got a boyfriend with like 90% of girls, not that many girls are in relationships, like you're probably doing something wrong. I probably want to reassess what I'm doing there and maybe like fix that and not stop showing so much intent in the beginning before trying to display attraction. So that's number one. But practically speaking, what I do in the moment is basically screen and see what she means by boyfriend. As I said, some girls are just lying. Some girls, they've met a guy on Tinder and have been on 2 dates. And so in her mind, it's her boyfriend. And then some girls are with a boyfriend, but she fucking hates him and they're about to break up. And then you have some girls that are about to get married and deeply in love with this guy and, ready to have kids. So one way I screen for that is I'll just be like, oh, that's really cool. Okay. Don't use any of these cheesy lines like, oh, I've got a goldfish. I thought we we'll talk about shit that doesn't matter or some shit. Like, don't do any of that. You just sound like butthurt or you sound like a fucking clown or immature. Just have a fucking conversation. She says I got a boyfriend. Say cool. That's awesome. Right? Now it doesn't even sound like you give a fuck or it doesn't feel like you're rejected. Then ask her the next question. I'm curious, like, how long you guys been together? Now, she says like 3 weeks. I'll be like, basically, no matter what she says, I'll basically say, oh, so it doesn't sound too serious, right? 6 months, so it doesn't sound too serious. And then if she says, yeah, it's not, okay, then yeah, it's probably not that serious. We'll stay in this interaction, we'll see where it goes, and we'll test a little bit further. If I say it's not that serious and she goes, no, it is, I am very much in love with him, then I'm like, all right, GG. Okay. I'm probably not going to waste my time here. I'll just use her to help me find the next goal. If this is in a club, I'll just tell her like, okay, perfect. This is great. Okay. You're ideal. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I need your help to find me a wife. Okay. I'm looking for my third wife tonight. All right. You're gonna help me out. And girls love doing that shit. They love winging. And so now you got like some social proof or some pre-selection if she's hot. And so yeah, basically screen, find out if it's serious or not. If it's not, then keep going. If it is, then yeah, just use there as your wing.
I feel
And
like
that
this
just comes
question
in.
is very
Go, go
context
for it.
dependent. Depends. Is it a daytime approach and she says she has a boyfriend? I found that 90% of the time, if she says she has a boyfriend off a day game approach, it's done. And I'm not even going to fight it that hard either. I'm not going to really prod much further. If I'm in a social circle environment or a night game environment and I'm opening the group, I may just you know, there's so much context here, right? Like, am I talking to her and then just out of nowhere she says she has a boyfriend? Because normally I'm going indirect. I'm opening the group, I'm building attraction with everybody. I'm trying to get some signals from her, some IOIs, M3 model style, right? So she's typically not going to say that unless I give her an IOI myself at some point, right? Which is normally an A3 if we're going to go M3 about this, right? So it's so context dependent. There was a time when I first got into game in my early to mid 20s where I experimented with different boyfriend destroyer patterns and, oh, you have a boyfriend, cool. I was wondering if you were looking for a husband though, or you can minimize, you can say, oh, okay, cool, and then just like stack forward. Um, you can say, okay, you have a boyfriend, but like a serious boyfriend, like the kind of boyfriend that like, you're in love with him, or is he like kind of just the guy you're seeing? I've experimented with all these different things, and typically, I don't like to overcome the boyfriend objection. If I get the boyfriend objection, I'm in a social environment, I'm going to continue socializing. And then if all of a sudden the boyfriend objection disappears and she's re-engaging me and she's, trying to start conversation with me, then I might turn my attention toward her again. So I'm not a big destroy the boyfriend kind of guy. Like overcome the boyfriend objection. I try to not get it in the first place. Context dependent. That's what I got
Yeah.
for you.
In my context, it'd be primarily night game. And generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, I almost never get like I have the boyfriend. Part of that is just like obviously me, and I'm going direct, sometimes indirect. But also mentally, I assume every attractive girl that I meet has on some level some type of boyfriend. Sort of going off what Mike was saying, it could be like casual situationship, friends with benefits, they're seeing each other, but they're seeing multiple partners, to they're serious, but like one partner is unhappy. I just assume they all like if you're approaching any girl that's above like a 7 that's pretty, she's got something on tap, right? So I always assume that. And if you are getting the I have a boyfriend, you're coming off as needy, desperate. There's something where you're not hitting the fuckable line, there's something off of your approach where you're coming off as, like I said, like horny, needy, desperate. And, I will typically just throw in a quick sort of joke, like, how long have you had that problem? Laugh, and then moving to ingratiate her, getting into like the set. And again, going off what Mark was saying, make her my friend and we can wing, or I can use the status and social proof to maybe like go into another group of girls. Otherwise, if she's like seriously involved, then it's too much effort, right?
Yeah, if a girl who tells me she has a boyfriend, I just move the fuck on because why the fuck would I waste my time? Time is your most valuable asset. It either means she actually has a boyfriend and she's not willing to cheat on him. And even if she did, he may be psycho and kill you. You never know what weird, jealous dudes might do. Or what it could mean is she just doesn't fucking like you. Something was off in your communication. I would just rather get another at bat, right? Just because you swung and missed at one pitch doesn't mean there'll be infinite number of pitches, and I just move on to the next one.
Or you know what? That's pretty funny because and to take bear in mind this is a story of a girl that I didn't even interact with, the husband of this random woman, and I never even met the woman. So just imagine like the truth to what you're saying. I didn't even date her or anything. The husband of a random woman on Facebook who just like commented on my Facebook post or some shit. Didn't know who she was. Fucking found me in the third biggest, I think, train station, London Underground subway station, quite a few years back during rush hour among hundreds of fucking people in the tunnel while I was on my way to work or something. The guy fucking not only identified me in the crowd, but knew that I was the person he was looking for. It was so fucking random. I didn't even know who the fuck he was, but he like confronted me. He was like, "You being taking my wife out for a date?" I was like, "I don't know what the fuck you're talking about." And turns out it was a woman I never even met. It was just some crazy psycho, just like you were talking about. And the only connection I had with this woman was that I was hosting a barbecue and she didn't go to it, but she was invited to it via Facebook group that just had in everyone's invited. So there was literally no fucking connection, but this guy found me among hundreds of people during rush hour underground in the busy fucking tunnels. Just like, what kind of crazy shit is that? So yeah. Anyway, any other perspectives on this?
I'll say one more thing about this. So I typically, if a woman has a boyfriend and I'm just looking at her as someone that I'm attracted to short term, I'm 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to try to disrupt that relationship, right? I'm going to respect she has a boyfriend. I'm only thinking about her in short-term way anyway. But if I see a girl and I think, man, I really like this girl, there may be some long-term potential here. This is when I was single, by the way. I am engaged. But when I was single, if I saw a woman and she had a boyfriend, I may indirectly still kind of run my game on her, interacting with other people. I'm going to sort of project my energy in a certain way. I'm going to try to draw her attention to me. And if she starts to like me better than her boyfriend, and I happen to see her over the course of several weeks, like social circle style, may go out with the same group of friends multiple times. I have been in situations where a girl has broken up with her boyfriend 2 or 3 weeks after I met her, and she hit me up on social media, and I'm like, that was not a coincidence, you know. It's happened more times than once. So these are girls that I really like, though. Again, I wasn't just trying to hook up. I actually saw some relationship potential. So maybe very indirectly trying to demonstrate that I'm a pretty solid dude. When I first meet her, she goes home. She looks at her boyfriend. He doesn't quite stack up. And then over the next few weeks, she breaks up with him. And boom, I get a message from her. Have I done that a few times in my day? I have.